Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to Ripples Rising, empowering voices, creating waves of change. And I'm so excited today. We are with Miss Marla Pearson, and we're sitting here at Beaver Lake in the background. It's in the evening time, so the ripples are kind of calm right now. But this is kind of a twilight evening time. And I welcome you and thank you for watching Ripples Rising. You can see us on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ripples Rising, and ripplesrising.com. So welcome, Marla.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Wonderful. Well, let me tell you a little bit about Marla, of course, a fellow Rippler. For 12 years, she has served as the Director of Special Programs with Responsive Education Solutions in Arkansas, where she manages 4 federal educational programs. So it means she's making ripples in the educational programs, and that's very, very important. You know that. She is our president of the Washington County Republican Women and treasurer of the Washington County Republican Committee. She also is on our county's Planning and Zoning Board. So let's just dive right into it. Thank you, Marla. I really appreciate this. Let me ask you, what inspired you to do the educational work that you're doing?
So the reason I got into education, I was actually a student that struggled with learning.
Really?
I did. And as I went through school, my outlet was athletics. So I got into sports, played basketball. But I noticed that with athletes, sometimes education is not the most important thing, right?
Athletics is,
and please remember, I am old, so it's been a long time since I was in school, so things are a little bit different now. But back then, I was a very good athlete.
Yeah.
So
what kind of athletics?
I played basketball, and I played every sport. I played tennis, basketball, volleyball, track when I was younger. So I just saw how we were treated differently. Basketball was more important. Being a good athlete was more important than sometimes education.
Did you get any athletic scholarships?
I did have an opportunity at the U of A at the time, but my senior year I blew my knee out, so that somewhat ended my career in basketball. And again, back then we did not have that opportunity to go on to professional sports. Right. So I made you myself a little bit there, but we just didn't have those opportunities. So when I was starting into college, I struggled even in college.
Oh.
And I had this wonderful teacher that took the time and worked with me on some areas that I needed to be worked on.
A teacher that cared.
Teacher that cared on there. And I'm like, this is inspiring, and I get it. Where I never got it before, she just unlocked things in my mind or in my brain that allowed me to excel in that setting in academics.
Okay.
So from that point on, I'm like, I always knew that I wanted to work in a service industry, and I'm like, okay, I want to inspire other people like she inspired me. So that is when I started my educational career. I also noticed that the differences in higher affluent areas opposed to what we call lower economic areas. So my passion began, those kids need a hero.
Yeah.
Those kids need somebody that's going to be in their corner.
It's usually the teacher.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
It is.
Sometimes
it is.
If it can be, it is the teacher.
Yeah.
And Marla, I remember it's like, a lot of us remember our teachers' names. They left such an impression on us. Like, what was it? Mrs. Knight, Mrs. Calico, Mrs. Alderson. Mrs. Lloyd, no.
You always had the ones that
Mrs. Lloyd, no. But, and I just rattled off the first names of, the names of the first 1 through 4th grade. Yeah. 7th, 8th, whatever. But, very impressionable period of children in school is very important.
Yeah, and so when I started, my goal was to work in low socioeconomic schools. And that's where I had my first teaching job and just fell in love with working with those families. And what I found was, doctors sometimes have that the God syndrome. Well, I'm going to say teachers sometimes have that too.
Oh, yes, they do.
So I just remember this one family I worked with. It was a single dad. He did not have a lot of money. In fact, I don't believe that they had running water in their home. But worked, wanted to take care of his boys. Yeah. And I am a friendly person.
So you're
I'm
saying
engaging.
he had custody of his boys?
He did. He had custody of his boys.
Wow.
And so I'm very welcoming. And I always, as a classroom teacher, had an open door policy. Like, if you were a parent, I'm like, hey, you can come by anytime.
Cool.
You know, you need to be a part of the education. You are also the most important person in that child's life.
Yes.
Knows the child better than I do, so
Yes.
I need that partnership there.
Yes.
So anyway, he never really came to school events. He came to my classroom. I was having a class party, and he came in and he said, Marla, I want to tell you, this is the only time I've ever done something like this. And I'm like, oh, really? Why? And he goes, I just never felt welcome in the school, but you know, you've made me feel welcome.
Wow.
And mind you, Jackie, they didn't have very much money. He brought drinks for the kids, and I'm like, wow. You know, I knew that meant a lot. That meant a lot to him, and that took a lot for him to do that. So just that inspired me to be an advocate for students, their needs, their families, and then that's what drove me into special education. Because sometimes those kids don't have a voice in school.
Usually they don't.
Parents, special education is complicated. The law is complicated.
Explain special education.
So special education is a program set up in the schools to help students with a qualifying disability. So for example, autism. There's 13 categories that a student can qualify into.
Wow.
Autism is one of them. We have hearing impaired, visually impaired. So you have some sort of disability. Could be a learning disability and not a physical, but there is a disability that qualifies them.
Dyslexia.
Dyslexia could be possibly for special ed, or we have 504-2, which is another disability program that we have. So it is for students, and it gives them an individualized education plan.
Okay.
So we meet as a team, we develop this IEP, or what we call that individual education plan, and that serves that student throughout their school years or until they're dismissed from special education.
Okay. Cool. Well, what does the phrase ripple effect mean to you? I mean, it sounds like you're really creating ripples. You're overseeing 4 federal programs, so are you overseeing the schools or the programs for those schools? How does that trickle down? Yeah.
I supervise, I have 10 schools under my belt. I work, Responsive Education Solution is a charter management company. We have charter schools. So we have 10 in the state of Arkansas. So I am over all those programs for those 10 schools, in which that ripple effect is I get to mentor teachers. I get to teach them strategies that work with students and all students, not just special ed. I also get to work with families and advocate for families through this program. So for example, if you had a special needs student and you called and said, hey, I need some help. I need to navigate this special education journey for my child. Or I need to understand some law that backs special education programs. So that is where I can come in and explain and be an advocate for those parents. I'm an advocate for the student at the school level. So if I see an IEP or that individual education plan that has accommodations in there for those students, and I go, oh, okay, well, their teachers aren't really following that plan. So I need to then go in and advocate for that student and say, hey, you know, we have this plan for a reason. Go on and then also work with those teachers on how do you implement this plan.
There you go.
So
how do you implement it?
Yeah.
You don't have all the plans you want, but you got to implement it.
So with special, one of the big probably ripples that I have made in that arena is, so in special education there is a enormous amount of paperwork, a large amount of paperwork that we have to do. Developing that plan, there's a lot of paperwork involved in that. So one of the things that I advocated for and was asked to be on is at the state level, where they did what we call a Paperwork Reduction Act, basically for special education teachers. There was a lot of things in the IEP that we could streamline that wasn't. So on that team, we looked at the IEP process, we looked at special ed processes and the paperwork, and we worked on reducing that for staff. We didn't cut out what it meant or things that needed to be in there, but just kind of reducing the workload on those teachers. Because, Jackie, special ed teachers are hard to find. They're a hot commodity.
It is.
When we talk about teacher shortages, that's in the general education classroom. We have always had a shortage with special education teachers, and a lot of it is because of the amount of work they get burnt. There's a high burnout rate with that. So that
Yeah.
committee that I was on is to try to help reduce the burnout rate of our special education teachers.
And you mentioned, is it 10 charter schools in the state of Arkansas?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
But not public schools.
Charter schools are public schools, so we are an open enrollment open enrollment charter school, meaning we do not charge money. We are a free public education entity. So we get money from the state for our students. We follow all state laws, federal laws. So we pretty much
Have a lot.
and act like a traditional school district. There are some differences, but as far as how we serve students and what we do, we are free appropriate public education.
That's a lot of ripples in education.
Oh yeah, I mean it's just there's always something going on, as you probably know, with education or
I've heard,
anything. Anything we do where the state's involved, or there's always room for change and room for improvement there.
Yes. Well, we talked a little bit about the education. We mentioned that you're politically active in the Republican, Washington County Republican Party here. What kind of ripples have you made in that in the last few years?
Well, in the last few years, a lot of things that we do is we help candidates get elected. We bring awareness to issues in our community. We advocate for laws to be changed or certain laws to be put in effect. One thing I can say, you, Jackie, with the efforts that you're trying to do with senior care. One thing as our committee can do is we can back you, we can support you, we can put out your literature, we can have you come in to talk to people, we can help you spread the word through publishing or through social media to try to get that word. We also work closely with elected officials. Because, they come to us to connect with people, to get their message out. So sometimes that lends into help, like, hey, Marla, you have somebody that I could talk to help me get this law passed. Yes, Jackie, you can go to such and such to get that done. I think with the women's group,
tell us about some of the fundraising and charitable work that the organization has done.
We do a lot. So we do a lot of outreach. So that's trying to get out into the community to educate about Republican principles, Republican values. We do fundraising for different organizations. So we have done food drives for our Marshallese community. We have done work for our Hispanic community. As a women's group, we have done work with women's shelters
and
blessing bags. Loving Choices. We do. There's so much that we touch.
Shelters,
Children's shelters. We do fundraising, of course, for our organization to have money to donate to candidates because our primary, function as our club or committee is to encourage people to run and to help get Republicans elected.
There you go.
Education is another thing that we focus on, is getting education even out to the high school or young people about the importance of voting. The importance of being involved in your community.
That's important, the importance of voting. Who was it? Susan, that the suffrage, about getting women to vote. And, it doesn't matter what party you're in.
No.
Just go vote. We've earned the right. Women have earned that right for us, and we don't need to take that for granted.
Well, and I love and I try to, and this is, of course, it's like you're talking to people and they're griping about how things are, and I'm like, well, how'd you vote, or did you vote? No, I didn't vote. Well, your voice is not heard if you're not voting. You have to. I mean, that's how we make change. Is through our voices, or through our voting, through activism, or through through joining a group, or getting involved in the community.
It's kind of a bad comparison, but my first husband, when we lived in Florida, always talked about the lottery, and we wouldn't go get the lottery tickets until it was really big. And you have voters like that. I just vote in the big election. But people, it's what's going on around you locally. The county politics, the city politics, that is affecting you directly here in your community. And that's what is important. Whether you vote nationally, great. Does your vote count? Your vote counts all the way up and down the ladder. But when people don't care about the local election, about whether your kid's in a school election, that's where it starts, school elections.
School boards are
Boards are
important.
big. School
Yes.
boards are very important.
And our county level, like
And the
I know
county
that
level.
before I really got involved, it's like I was one of those ladies. I'm
Yeah.
focusing on the big elections, our national elections, but then I started learning. Gosh,
Look at what you're missing right here in your backyard.
We really need to focus on here because here is where we can be the biggest change makers.
And here is
And
where
that's where
it affects
starts.
you
So
directly.
Jackie, you talk about a ripple, right?
Yes.
We make a little ripple in our own community, and especially with politics, and then that ripple keeps growing, and my gosh, it becomes a wave.
It becomes
and
a
that
wave.
wave is where we have change
That is.
in our nation.
It
And
is.
It is a beautiful thing to see. It is, and like you say, get out and vote because we have worked very hard for that vote. Not just
Yes.
for women, that's our God-given right as an American.
Susan B.
To
Anthony.
go get a vote.
Yes.
You have a vote. And I just think that's unique and it's special. It's a
is.
special thing.
It is. It is. So if you could ripple one message out to women, what would it be? Or was that it?
I think that along with, Jackie, I'm going to be honest, I suffer sometimes with this insecurities. And you think, oh, I can't, who am I? I'm not going to make a difference. But we do. It's just giving a little, and it's amazing how much difference we can make when we insert ourselves in those activities or in those circumstances. And my mom, when I was playing basketball, my mom always said, hey, Marla, be careful how you act. Be careful what you do because somebody's always going to look up to you. And I kind of think that as that ripple, like one act of kindness can start a ripple.
Oh, absolutely.
One conversation can start a ripple. And one conversation, you gain a friend.
Gain a friend.
Which helps us as women and that support to where we really can go out and
make a difference.
And, we are strong.
Yes.
And we really can do those things to get out and make those differences and make plenty of ripples and have that confidence that we can do that.
See, she's talking about some of the same things when I interviewed Kelly on one of the other episodes about communication, about talking, and just learning how to have effective conversations. And I'll bring it up. I know it is so divisive anymore about politics anymore. 20 years ago, it just seemed like gray matter. And now it's either a red or blue. Red and blue. We need a purple in between.
We need a purple. And I think we can, and I will tell you, Jackie, what I've noticed with people that, talk. And one of my good friends is a Democrat. Yeah. And that's okay.
And I have a moderate liberal friend. I have a
lot of great conversations.
Right.
And he prompts me. We don't belittle each other.
No.
We're respectful.
That's right.
But what I see is that's the media.
That's right.
Media, Fox News, which I do watch it
as well.
But all of our mainstream media, they get paid on causing disruption.
They do.
Like if all they report is nice, good things, nobody's going to watch it, right? Because it's our human nature. Like we want to watch. We want to watch that conflict.
Yeah.
I don't believe it's as bad as they project it to be. Locally here in our community, you're my neighbor, no matter
exactly
who you are.
Thank you
on that. And I just think with even politics, it just annoys me.
Yes.
In any other profession, right?
Yes.
You have to work together.
Got to work together.
If we have differences, you figure it out. You find it out to do the common good for
the public,
whatever
for the
product on that. And I do feel that I'm not judgmental. That just irritates me.
Yes.
To the core.
Yes.
It's like we are all human beings.
In the fishbowl together.
We are all human beings.
Yes.
And every human being, to an extent, deserves respect.
That's right.
And just because we think differently doesn't mean that we can't work together and make change or make ripples.
Make ripples. All right. Is there any one last thing you'd like to say to our viewers?
Just keep plowing on. Keep making those ripples. Jackie, you are so impressive when I met you, and the things that you're doing, and you inspire me. So I think just like looking at that, like, oh my gosh, if you can do it, you know what, I can do it.
Yeah.
And just keep going and have confidence in yourself that we do matter. And even when we don't think we are making a difference, we are.
You don't know who's watching.
That's right. Somebody's always watching.
Oh, Marla, thank you so much for your time today and your inspiration. And can we all just get along and make some ripples together? Make some good ripples in the world together. That's what we're about, huh?
That's what we're about, and that's what we want to keep going.
All right. I like it.
Thanks
Thanks
for
a lot.
having me.
Okay. Thank you for watching Ripples Rising. We're empowering voices, creating waves of change.